When it comes to your pelvic health, it is equally important to stretch our muscles as well as strengthen them. Hi, I'm physical therapist Katie Wolfley, and today we are talking about the importance of stretching when it comes to your pelvic health and some stretches that you can do to get started today. With any muscle in our body, there's an important relationship between length and strength. When we contract a muscle, our muscles shorten and the fibers come together. When we look to activate those muscles, we need some length between them. If the muscles are too tight, those tiny little fibers that pull together when we contract are already too close to have any length to create power and strength. You would stretch your legs before going for a run, right? So it's equally important for us to stretch our muscles that work with and are a part of the pelvic floor before we strengthen them. And not to mention, there are some pelvic health issues that are very common that are more related to the inability of our muscles to stretch because they're too tight, as opposed to just having pelvic floor weakness. So let's try some stretches. Our first stretch that we're gonna do is for our adductors or the inner thigh muscles. They definitely coordinate with our pelvic floor, and when those muscles are too tight, our pelvic floor will also be too tight. So we're gonna take our feet into a wider than hip width stance, and we're gonna try and turn our toes instead of straight forward, angle them in. You want your feet to go to equal positioning, whatever angle that is for you. We're going to stick our hips back so we are hinging forward at our hip joint, and then shift our weight over towards one side. The leg that is straight is the one that you should be feeling that nice long stretch on. We're gonna stretch the inner thighs, a little bit of one of our hamstrings as well. If these muscles are tight, they will influence the pelvic floor and also encourage them to be tight. So we're gonna hold this position for 5 to 10 seconds. And then we'll shift over, do the other side, same thing. And you're gonna work through this stretch for at least 10 repetitions. If you're feeling one side is way more tight than the other, feel free to spend a little bit more time on that side. Our other two stretches that we're gonna do, we're gonna perform in hands and knees. So whether that means you can get down on the floor on a mat, or maybe you can perform these on your mattress. Hopefully it's not too squishy. We want a little bit of a firm surface to hold us, but you wanna be somewhere comfortable so we're not putting too much pressure on the knees and creating pain. Our first stretch is called thread the needle. So we're gonna bring ourselves, starting in hands and knees. You can take your knees wide, toes together, and you're gonna sit your butt back towards your feet. This is gonna lock out our low back. We're gonna work through some rotation motion for our thoracic spine to work through any tension that we might have within our trunk. So keeping the hands down to the surface, we're gonna pick one hand. That hand is going to reach underneath the standing hand. I'm gonna keep my standing elbow straight, reaching this hand underneath as far as I can, holding for 3 seconds. I like to do pushing your back of the hand into the surface to create a little active stretch through the shoulder blades. And then after a 3-second hold, you're gonna open up, make your chest face the wall behind you, and rotate as far back as possible. You're gonna hold that open position for 3 seconds, and then rinse and repeat. You're gonna bring yourself back down for 10 repetitions, reaching with your left hand, 10 repetitions, reaching with your right. That mobility through the trunk is going to allow us to stretch the core so that when we work it, it's ready to go. Our last stretch that we're gonna perform is a frog stretch. You're gonna get down onto the knees, and we're gonna take them wider than a hip width. The shins wanna be down to the surface. You're actually gonna turn your feet out so that your inner arch of the foot is down to the ground, toes pointing towards the walls next to you. And we're gonna bring ourselves down onto forearms, okay? We're gonna shift our weight backwards into the hips. I get a nice deep stretch into the hips. You might even feel it in like the front socket or front hip crease. You're gonna stay in this position for honestly as long as you comfortably can. For a lot of people, this is a deep stretch and maybe only 10 seconds is tolerated, but the longer you can hold it, the better it will feel, I promise. And maybe working towards at least a 30-second hold in that position. You can either come up onto the forearms to take a break, shift your weight forward to get off of it, and then come back down, rinse and repeat. The more that you work through the stretch, you'll find that you could probably take the knees wider each time, and that increasing width will increase the mobility that we get rotating through those hips. That'll definitely allow us to get more power through our hips when we finally get into our workout to strengthen. Looking for more ways to improve your core and pelvic health? Join us for our online wellness series class, Core Strength for Women, on April 22nd. Registration is free, and you can click the link below to find out more.